Leslie Mullenix is a first-grade teacher at Gaston Point Elementary School in Gulfport. She is the District Common Core captain and has been using Common Core teaching standards in her classroom for 4 years.
Honestly, I love it. As a parent and as an educator in the classroom, has enabled me to slow down.
Common Core standards require teachers to dive deeper into each subject so students can actually grasp what they're being taught.
They go back and justify how did they get to their answer, and when they finish this, they write about it. And if they can do all those steps and write about it, they own that objective. They own that learning experience.
State educators believe this is the direction Mississippi desperately needs to be going in lieu of our poor academic performance.
I think the rigor of the standards is going to be the impetus that provide that kind of challenge that our children need. We've been implementing the Mississippi standards for a number of years. We've had outside evaluators come in and tell us how poor they are.
Many people are still skeptical about Common Core and what it entails, but teachers are encouraging parents to come into the classroom and check it out firsthand.
I think change is uncomfortable for most people. Change is uncomfortable for me, but I have found that when I invite the parents in to come and get involved in our activities and just see what we're doing on a daily basis, that they get very excited about what their children are doing now.
Mullenix tells News 25 she believes although Common Core is challenging, it's in the best interest of students.
The questions are harder, but they learn how to think it through versus just regurgitating something out.
Gulfport test scores will be released in October. In Gulfport, Katarina, News 25. Squaring off, Mississippi's top 2 political leaders who say Common Core is a failed system versus the State Board of Education, who believe the standards are the best we have ever seen. The mediator, the Mississippi State Legislature. Local lawmakers say there needs to be a compromise.
I don't want to see us just bail out and jump ship if that's working in a lot of areas. And if it's not working in other areas of the state, then we need to give them options to go back to whatever program that works best in their community.
The State Board of Education approved a 1-year, $8.4 million contract for testing students under Common Core in 2015. House Education Chair John Moore says the task force and creation of new standards Lieutenant Governor Reeves is suggesting could cost the state more than $100 million and take years of work. Lieutenant Governor Reeves says if necessary, the legislature should bypass the State Board of Education, who are large supporters of Common Core. State legislators tell News 25 it's very important to keep the Board of Education in the conversation.
I believe that the State Board of Education, as well as educators, should be included in any initiative that we do or any process that we take that will affect how we teach our schools and how we affect our policy.
Discussion about Common Core is sure to take up a lot of time on the House floor next month, but lawmakers are happy there's such interest in the education of our young people.
The big picture is, and the good news, is that we're talking about increasing standards, getting Mississippi off the bottom and moving forward.
In Biloxi, Katarina, News 25. The Literacy-Based Promotion Act is now in effect in Mississippi as a direct result of half our third graders scoring below proficiency on the state language assessment. We take a look at what the law is and how one local elementary school is working with it. The newly enacted third grade reading gate law states any third grade student not able to read at grade level by the end of the school year will be held back. In an effort to make our students better readers,
I sat up and looked around.
Schools like Pass Road Elementary have started issuing universal screenings to determine how well each student can read.
Those diagnostic assessments allow us to give students individualized instruction if their area of weakness, so we can make sure we remediate it in time for the children to be successful.
School officials believe it's better to hold struggling students back and work with them instead of allowing them to advance and have a harder time at the higher levels. Even one of our state's most prominent leaders was held back, and it didn't have any consequence on his career.
I repeated the third grade. I'm dyslexic, so I couldn't read at the third grade level. My mother and the principal got together, and the teachers and decided it was best to hold me back. That's okay. I came through it better for the experience.
Teachers are stressing the importance that this is not just an in-classroom effort. They are encouraging parents to designate at least 20 to 30 minutes of reading time a night.
Asking questions just about the story, what's going on in the story, those who, what, when, where, how questions about the story, talking about the characters, just discussing what they're reading.
School administrators say it has to be a team effort between parents and teachers to turn the page for their child's future, helping them become better equipped for their education and their career. Mississippi's Reading Gate law mimics a Florida model, which has already proven to be quite successful. For News 25, I'm Katarina. Today, experts from the Mississippi State Medical Center and Mississippi Kids Count organization held a luncheon at the IP Casino in Biloxi to discuss the importance of early childhood education. Experts say the third grade Reading Gate law is great, but believe we should be targeting kids even earlier at the pre-kindergarten level. For years, Mississippi was the only state in the Deep South without publicly funded pre-K. But that's changed over the past 2 years thanks to state lawmakers making a $3 million investment to give underprivileged children a chance at early education through the Early Learning Collaborative Act. State Senator Bryce Wiggins tells News 25 it's a sound investment that could use more funding.
Myself, just like all my colleagues and everybody around here, we're tired of Mississippi being 50th. And, you know, this is a long-term view.
Over the past year, our 3 coastal counties have seen a decline in reading proficiency at the third grade level. Under the third grade Reading Gate law that goes into effect this year, students who can't read at grade level by the end of third grade will automatically be held back. Experts say the focus doesn't need to be in third grade. It needs to start earlier.
If you focus on third grade, you're way too late. By that time, you know, some of the developmental disabilities that kids may have, learning disabilities, are already well ingrained. So we need to intervene at the pre-kindergarten level.
In addition, kindergarten is only mandatory in 14 states. Mississippi is not one of them, although teachers say this is a pivotal year when it comes to reading.
I know every teacher I've ever talked to said they need mandatory kindergarten because of the brain development and where they are.
Although sending children to kindergarten in Mississippi isn't a law, it's a choice available to all parents, as well as publicly funded pre-K programs for their children.
If we do not start early, then I think that the road is going to be very long and very steep for children to be able to have the successes that we all want them to have.
State Senator Wiggins tells News 25 he believes in a bottom-up approach. He says if mandatory early childhood education is something the people of Mississippi are interested in, it's important to let your elected officials know. Live in studio, Katarina, News 25. 20-year-old Jasmine White is a high school dropout, but is now on her way to earning both her GED and welding certificate from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College's Transition Academy.
Welding, I see I can do that, and I'm a girl, so it was just a bunch of men, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to go do that. I'm a girl. I'm going to do it out with the big dogs.
The welding program is one of 2 concentrations in the Transitions Academy, the other being early childhood development. The one-semester academy is free of charge, and students who complete the program will have nationally recognized certifications in their respective area.
Because there is a need for these students. So many of them left school. They did not complete, high school or GEDs, but they're also needing to get jobs to support families. And so this is a real need in our community right now.
Once these students complete this program, they will have both their welding certificate and their GED. Local shipyards have said with both of these, they will most certainly have employment opportunities.
There have been shipyards that have spoke up and said if they pass this program, both the GED, everything, a whole package combined, they will hire them on.
Students who don't choose to go into the workforce right away also have the option to further their education towards an associate's degree at MGCCC. Students like Jasmine are grateful for this opportunity and recommend it to others in similar situations.
You're going to get it right. No matter what, you're going to get it right. And then at the end, it's going to pay off. Literally, it's going to pay off.
Jasmine hasn't decided whether she will go to work at a shipyard right away or continue to work toward her associate's degree. But the one thing she is sure of, this was the second chance she desperately needed. In Long Beach, Katarina, News 25.